So this is a capacitor meter. This is used for testing and diagnosing capacitors, and capacitors are found on all circuit boards. So these are your smaller electrolytic capacitors, and their size can go all the way up to the large capacitors that are the size of a soda can that would live in your HVAC system. There's everything in between and even larger than that. For a safety caveat, these small capacitors that are on your smaller 5 volt and 12 volt common circuit boards are harmless. Anything that is directly connected to 120 volt or 240 volt, you always have to discharge them because they can kill you. So, good practice is if you're unsure, discharge it. An easy way to discharge it is to short it by using an insulated screwdriver to short the two contacts. So, capacitors you would want to test around your home would be HVAC capacitors, capacitors on motors like my table saw and garage door opener. Since a lot of motors have capacitors to start them, and oftentimes those are the kinds of capacitors that go out and are easily replaceable and cheaper than replacing a motor. So, the ability to test and diagnose capacitors has a significant value if you know what you're doing. This meter, once turned on, goes through a testing process. So if your capacitor is small enough, you can put it in the slot here. Just make sure the leads are connected in there, and it will start charging and discharging multiple times. And what is actually happening is that it's running a high frequency signal through it and determining not only the capacitance or how much energy the capacitor can hold, it's also testing how quickly it can charge and discharge that energy. So, how quickly it can charge and discharge is as important as knowing its capacitance, and that is indicated by this ESR function, which indicates how quickly it's able to do that. Then the screen is switching between a D value and a Q value, and those values assist in determining how good or how bad the capacitor is. The ECAP number, which is 17.1%, is a percentage value of how far off the reading of capacitance is versus its rated capacity. So this one has a rated capacity of 100 microfarads, and its reading is, we'll just say 83 microfarads. So it's off by 17.1%. This has an acceptable range of a 20% difference, but capacitors degrade over time, and this is giving me an indication that this capacitor has degraded quite a bit. It still tests okay, and it still would be considered okay from a capacitance standpoint. But when you factor in the ESR, the D value, and the Q value, it's telling me that this capacitor has degraded. Another thing this device can do is test, so you will only get accurate information about capacitance if the capacitor is removed from a circuit or you remove one lead from the circuit so that it is not in circuit. If you're trying to diagnose a problem, like on the circuit board, you can test the ESR and the D and Q values by connecting to the points where it's coming through the circuit board next to the circuit traces here. I can connect to that and can get the ESR and the D and Q values that will tell me if that capacitor, that certain capacitor, is suspect or not. It can't tell me the capacitance, but it can tell me if it's worth diagnosing further. And that would require me to desolder it, then test. But if you're trying to diagnose a problem with a circuit board, that would be an indicator. Obviously, you'll start visually with swelling or leaking capacitors, and this will help you diagnose issues that aren't obviously visible. These come with alligator clips, and even on this board, there's enough poking through that I can attach these and test this capacitor. The feature I appreciate most from this device is that it has the ability to test supercapacitors, like the ones in electric vehicles or industrial battery backup systems, making this device an incredible deal and a true find. So thanks, OIUEBXE, for sending me this to try. I am very impressed with its capabilities. Go check it out.